You're looking for a camera that won't feel like a constant experiment, something that just works day to day, fits into your workflow and actually gives you images you're proud to share, not a list of tech jargon that sounds impressive on paper. The biggest worry most of us have is ending up with a high-resolution body that's a nightmare to focus, drains the battery before the lunch break, or forces us to buy a mountain of expensive lenses just to get decent low-light shots. That hesitation is real, especially when you're weighing a full-frame mirrorless that promises 44 megapixels. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. When I started digging into the LUMIX S1RII, the first thing I looked for was how it behaves in the hands of a hobbyist who also dabbles in occasional wildlife and video work. The sensor size and pixel count are impressive, but the real question is whether the camera translates that resolution into usable images without demanding a PhD in photography. The answer, for most everyday creators, lands somewhere in the middle. Let's talk about autofocus. Panasonic calls it a phase hybrid system with AI-driven subject detection. In practice, it means the camera can lock onto a bird in flight or a child running across the park with a respectable degree of confidence, especially when you engage the AFC40 burst mode. In my field tests, the focus acquisition was quick enough that I could keep the shutter button pressed and still capture the decisive moment. However, the system does occasionally hunt when you shift from a bright outdoor scene to a dimly lit indoor venue without giving it a moment to readjust. For a seasoned sports shooter, that might feel like a deal breaker, but for most hobbyists who aren't chasing every split second, the occasional miss is tolerable. Low-light performance is another practical checkpoint. The 44.3 MP sensor packs a lot of detail, but that also means each pixel is smaller compared to lower-resolution full-frame rivals. In real-world settings, a concert hall or a candlelit dinner, the S1RII manages to retain fine texture, yet you'll notice a modest amount of noise when you push the ISO beyond 6400. If you regularly shoot in near-dark conditions, you might find a camera with larger pixels more forgiving. For those who typically work with natural light or have a steady tripod, the noise level is manageable and the dynamic range shines through, delivering that lifelike detail the marketing promises. Stabilization is where the S1RII starts to feel like a true daily driver. Panasonic's 5-axis IBIS works smoothly, cutting out handheld shake for both stills and video. I shot a short documentary segment, walking through a market with the camera in hand, and the footage stayed steady enough that I never had to reach for a gimbal. The downside is that the stabilization system, combined with the high-resolution sensor, eats a noticeable chunk of battery life. A full day of shooting, mixing stills, burst mode, and an hour of 4K video will have you swapping batteries at least once. If you're planning a marathon shoot without access to power, keep a spare pack handy. The battery confidence isn't as robust as some competitors that prioritize endurance. Menu navigation on Panasonic bodies can be a love-or-hate affair. The S1RII continues the brand's tradition of deep, layered menus that let you tweak virtually everything from custom button assignments to color grading LUTs for video. For creators who enjoy fine-tuning settings, this depth is a blessing. For beginners, however, the sheer number of options can feel overwhelming, and the learning curve is steeper than on some rival mirrorless models that favor a more streamlined interface. The good news is that once you get past the initial setup, you'll find the customizability actually speeds up your workflow, especially when you frequently switch between stills and video. Now, about lenses. The mount ecosystem is still growing, but you already have solid options from Panasonic, Leica, and third-party makers. The good part is that most mount lenses are designed to resolve the sensor's detail, so you're not wasting resolution on a cheap glass. The catch is price. High-resolution lenses tend to be pricey, and if you're buying the body only, you'll need to budget for at least one workhorse lens to truly benefit from that 44 MP sensor. If you already own a mount glass, the S1RII is a natural upgrade. If you're starting from scratch, consider whether you want to invest in a new lens line or look at other full-frame options that can use existing lenses via adapters. Who should press add to cart? If you're a serious hobbyist who loves to capture fine landscape details, enjoys occasional wildlife shots, and wants a camera that can also double as a competent video tool, the S1RII makes sense. Its high resolution and dynamic range deliver images that hold up when you print large or crop heavily. The robust video features, including Vlog and 6K recording, give you room to grow if you're exploring moving images. For professionals who need flawless AF on fast action or relentless battery life, there are alternatives that perform better in those specific arenas. Who should skip it? If you're a beginner just learning composition, the learning